and welcome to our podcast. Today, podcast we're going to talk about a social psychology phenomenon that happened our daily life.
This time, we're going to talk about stereotype, prejudice, and discrimination, which are terms mentioned in social psychology, and all of them relate to each other.
Okay, for start, we can introduce ourselves first. My name is Salwa as host today.
My name is Allia as co-host.
My name is Naela Faeruza.
My name is Qireina Ekapaksi.
My name is Marta Kusuma.
Okay, we can start about last week, some podcast that presented by the famous singer. Did you know Jebung?
Yeah.
Jebung is the presenter in that podcast, and then she talked about the Bataknis jawline. Majority of Indonesian people usually have a stereotype of how Bataknis people have a strong and 90 degrees jawline. So, what's your opinion about that topic?
Yeah, I will think like that too because when I see people with sharp jawline, I will immediately think that they are Bataknis people.
Well, yeah, and it's not completely wrong. And based on how we guess it, that they're Bataknis, that's called a stereotype.
Oh.
And you're generalizing Bataknis people have the same jawline shape.
True, and for other example, have you ever met a stranger at a public space or transportation and they ask you like, oh, you are from this tribe, that tribe, and blah 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 blah. It turns out it was because the tone of the conversation was like tribe.
So it's like inferring identity from the experience. Or some people came to you guys are psychology students. Is there any statement from expert or maybe psychological professional about this stereotype topic?
Actually, there is a statement from Gordon Alford about stereotypes. So he said that stereotype is an exaggerating belief associated with a category. But this term was originally first coined by Lippmann in 1922.
Gordon Alford?
He is an American psychologist.
Oh, I see. I heard that stereotypes can develop into prejudice. Is that true? Yes, it's true. Stereotypes can develop into prejudice. Like Alford said that prejudice is a negative attitude and feeling towards someone based solely on their membership in a particular group.
And after prejudice, it could also turn into discrimination, which Alford said that discrimination is a negative behavior towards someone or a certain group.
But what is the difference between stereotype, prejudice, and discrimination?
So stereotype is referring to the identity of someone of that group, and prejudice is the attitude towards the group, and the discrimination is the behavior.
What makes stereotype such a big thing?
It's actually caused by the modern media that were watched by millions of people every day. For example, I once watched a movie about a doctor that had a patient that insists that she wants to be treated only by an Asian doctor because she has the stereotype that Asian is a good person at math.
Okay, so what about children? Where do they learn about stereotype since they are just starting every day?
Do you know social learning theory? By referring to this theory, it can be said that person learns to stereotype other people because they have direct experience with a certain group or are influenced by other people. Stereotypes can be formed through influence from people closest to them, not as their parents.
So, what's your opinion about stereotype, prejudice, and discrimination that still happen this day?
I think it has more negative impact than positive, and each human has their own different uniqueness, and it's a shame that those are getting ignored because this kind of thing still happen to this day.
Yeah, I agree. Well, it's actually a shame that things like this still happen in our daily life. So I don't think it's a wise thing to do when you generalize a group without considering each individual's characteristics.
I have the same opinion too. I feel like when someone have a stereotype towards us, we are unconsciously forced to fulfill their expectation because of the stereotypes they have.
Anyway, are there any factors that can stereotype?
Of course, there are. Well, humans naturally categorize people into groups based on their shared characteristics, and this categorization can lead to overgeneralizations about the entire groups, ignoring their individual differences. For example, it's our brain tend to seek patterns and simplify information. And that's lead to biases like the illusory correlations, where we overestimate the association between two unrelated beliefs while ignoring or downplaying information that contradicts them. So this strengthens stereotypes by selectively focusing on evidence that supports them.
What about prejudice? Are there many factors that can cause prejudice?
Yes, well, prejudice often stems from negative emotions like fear, anger, or resentment towards outgroups.
Is there help?
Well, of course not. There are other factors like when faced with frustration or adversity, individual may blame an outgroup for their problems. For example, I'm friend with Faye, and I have a conflict with Faye before. And turns out that Faye is on the same friend group with you,
Yeah.
and I have a conflict with you too.
Okay.
I will have a stereotype that your friend group
Mm.
is full with problematic person and toxic person that always fight each other. I will hate you guys, to be honest. Yeah.
How about discrimination?
Well, there are some factors that cause discrimination too. The cause of discrimination is actually start from prejudice, and discrimination often arises from power imbalances between groups.
Oh, I wonder what impact those things had on our society and humanity.
Stereotypes often perpetuate existing power imbalance and discrimination. They can lead to biased treatment on stereotypes rather than their individual merits. It can hinder their access to opportunities and limit their potential.
Can it lead the individual to have negative perception about themselves?
Technically, yes, exposure to negative stereotypes can lead to a self-doubt and lower self-esteem, particularly among the marginalized group. This can negatively impact their performance and well-being.
I also heard that there was some conflict that started because of perception toward a group of people.
Yeah, true.
Yeah, stereotypes can fuel prejudice and discrimination, leading to hostility, harassment, and violence towards individuals or groups. Stereotypes can contribute to social tension and conflict between different groups, hindering social cohesion and understanding.
Oh, honestly, those things have more negative impact than positive impact on our society. Is there any way to solve this stereotype, prejudice, and discrimination problem, or at least a way we can reduce it?
Okay, so the main problem is discrimination, I mentioned before, since it's the act towards group. We can actually reduce and raise awareness by educating young children about equality. We can provide this education at school so that children have a mindset of equality without seeing all kinds of differences from each individual.
Maybe I can read the conclusion for today.
Go on.
Stereotype, prejudice, and discrimination are interconnected concepts that contribute to social inequality and injustice. Stereotype involve oversimplified beliefs about groups, which can lead to negative attitudes like prejudice, and harmful action like discrimination and against individuals based on their group memberships. Understanding this relationship is essential for fostering a just and inclusive society, and actively challenging these harmful beliefs and behaviors plays a crucial role in creating positive change.
Yeah.
That's a good
Okay.
conclusion.
Okay,
Thank you for today, guys.
Thank you for coming,
Bye.
You're welcome.
Thank you so
Thank you.
much
Bye.
for
It's our
chat.
pleasure.